Hey, good morning, my friends. Pull up a chair, top off your coffee, and let's give some serious thought to the 4th of July, to what this holiday really means. Sure, fireworks and, well, the backyard grill are all a part of the tradition and celebration. And throughout most of the past century, the holiday has had kind of a family reunion feel. But back in 1776, the folks in Philadelphia and the American colonies weren't giving a great deal of thought to hot dogs, lawn chairs, or parade floats. Even though many people were staunch supporters of the crown, there were a growing number of dissatisfied colonists that envisioned an entirely revolutionary future. In Philadelphia, a group of men were most likely meditating on risk, revolution, and uncertain birth of a radical new form of government. They were probably not in the mood for celebration, as they had just signed a document that closed with these words: "We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states, and that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledged each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." And the Continental Congress approved the Declaration of Independence in July of 1776. It wasn't accompanied by marching bands or speakers. It was a serious, even solemn and dangerous act of political defiance. The men who added their signature to that document took those closing lines serious. This was a commitment of treason. It looks like the first public celebration came a year later in Philadelphia in 1777. Bells rang, cannons fired, citizens marked the occasion with joy, mixed with reflection on what had been, what was, and what the future might be. They were still locked in a struggle with an uncertain outcome. But with the passing of time, the 4th of July began to evolve into something larger than commemoration. It became a sort of national stage. It was not just a party. This was a message of hope, even when we were not manifesting the lofty ideals enshrined in the Declaration of Independence. And it was inspiration for Americans, for new immigrants, and for people throughout the world that longed for freedom. The founders could not imagine inflatable eagles or televised concerts on the National Mall, but they absolutely understood symbolism, and they understood patriotism. Most historians today agree that Thomas Jefferson, the principal author of the Declaration, set an early precedent in 1801. He hosted one of the first presidential 4th of July receptions at the White House. The grounds were open to citizens, diplomats, military officers, and everyday American. Music played and celebrations spilled across the lawn. It was a public gathering in a young nation's newly defined seat of government. This was more than just hospitality. This was philosophy in action. The idea was simple, and it is still powerful. Celebration of a constitutional republic should be visible to its people. It should reinforce the belief that this is a government for the people and by the people. And the founders, especially Jefferson, believed that Independence Day should not merely look backward. It should inspire and unite the nation with a shared vision of the future as we continue working to build a more perfect union. Through the years, presidents have used the 4th of July as something more than ceremony, manifesting leadership. They worked to unite the nation with their words, and they used the holiday as a mirror reflecting who we are and who we hope to become. George Washington marked the day with public appearances and addresses, treating it as both a celebration and a civic duty. John Adams often paired military reviews with public gatherings, reinforcing the connection between independence and personal responsibility for the type of government we would have. Would government serve the people, or would it serve a select few? Excuse me. We, the people, had a responsibility to serve as a restraint on the natural proclivity for greed and grift that comes from unchecked powers. Abraham Lincoln's presidency transformed the meaning of American unity. His Gettysburg Address and the Emancipation Proclamation became forever intertwined with the spirit of Independence Day. They were short, precise calls to the people to finish the work that began in 1776. It was a vision of the future where the liberty and equality enshrined in the Declaration of Independence was awarded to all Americans. The nation shall, under God, have a new birth of freedom, Lincoln declared in 1863. This was direction. This was an attempt to unite the divided nation with pursuit of a common goal. And that's really what a great 4th of July leadership has often been. True, presidential leadership is less about celebration and more about setting a course for the future and uniting the nation to follow that course. In the modern era, presidents have continued to use Independence Day speeches to frame national identity and aspirations. John F. Kennedy, speaking in Philadelphia in 1962, emphasized the delicate balance of unity and division within the American system. He talked about how state and federal governments must work together, each dependent on the other for the survival of the republic. It was a reminder that independence and freedom were dependent on checks, balances, and compromise. Decades later, Ronald Reagan often returned to the theme of shared memory and shared purpose. Reflecting on the bicentennial of 1976, he described crowds gathering at the Liberty Bell, singing God Bless America in a moment of quiet unity. He presented an image of a nation pausing, even briefly, just to remember what binds it together. He understood that a nation is strongest when it remembers its story together and unites behind a vision for its future. Through every generation, one pattern stands out. The 4th of July has never been just fireworks and festivities. It is a stage for leadership. From Jefferson's open White House receptions to Lincoln's moral clarity to Kennedy's constitutional balance to Reagan's nostalgic unity, presidents have used Independence Day to do something rare in politics. They speak to national memories and hope for the future at the same time. Perhaps that's why this holiday is so special. The 4th of July allows our nation to look backward without getting stuck there. And it's an opportunity to look forward without forgetting where it came from. So here we are, 250 years later. This 4th of July will provide a new generation of leaders to shine brightly. They will inspire us to reflect on that hot July in 1776, and they will provide the vision of America, still serving as a shining light of liberty in 2076. The world has changed. The nation has grown. The celebrations have become louder, brighter, and more elaborate. And often those celebrations obscure what the holiday really means, how extraordinary this country is, and what has made America great. But the core question remains the same as it was in the beginning. What kind of country are we building for future generations? Our nation's founders did not leave us a finished product when they signed the Declaration of Independence or replaced the Articles of Confederation with the Constitution and Bill of Rights. They left us a framework, a challenge, and a goal to pursue. And every 4th of July, when the sky lights up and the last echo of fireworks, we should be reminded of something simple but powerful. Independence was declared in a moment, but is built across generations or lost in one if we, the people, abandon our responsibility. My friends, I hope that you have a delightful, memory-making 4th of July holiday shared with friends and family, and I hope that you take time to reflect on this incredible experiment in self-government, your role in ensuring that future generations celebrate this holiday in freedom, and the sacrifice made by those bold leaders in the summer of 1776. You know, Jim Hinckley's America is definitely a shared adventure. So, my friends, I am glad that you could join us this morning. And I do hope that you will join us on Sunday mornings for the live stream programs with interesting and inspirational guests on the Jim Hinckley's America YouTube channel. Invite your friends to our little virtual diner, 7 o'clock Sunday mornings, Arizona time. And don't forget to check out our Facebook page that's linked to Instagram. And for more road trip inspiration or great stories, look at the award-winning Jim Hinckley's America website. After all, sharing America's story, encouraging people to discover America with road trips, telling people where to go, it's what we do. And we do this with support from our listeners through Patreon. We also do this with support from the folks at Roadrunner Lodge Motel, 2 Lane America, Route Trip USA, Dean and Nelson State Farm Insurance, Gilligan's Route 66 Tours, and Enchanted Trails Trading Post and RV Park. They all share our passion for road trips and the amazing American story. Well, I'll see you next week, unless you can join us, of course, Sunday morning. As Chris Ledoux said in the song The Ride, sit tall in the saddle, hold your head up high, keep your eyes fixed where the trail meets the sky, and live like you ain't afraid to die, and don't be scared, just enjoy your ride. Now, let me wrap this up with a little tune from Joe and Woody and the boys of the road crew. Until we meet again, my friends, adios. Amigos.
Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a 2-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.